Alrighty everyone, welcome back, and indeed it is time for map number 3 here. Of course, we've seen ENCE taking the victory back on Nuke, 16-10 in the end. It was a relatively close affair. There was lots of crazy moments. I think Mike is maybe still a bit tilted from that last round, but we're into Inferno now, and we have the action immediately kicking off. Tabson actually finding the initial opening kill, but over in Banana, Big were also looking to continue on with that aggression. It didn't initially work out. We did see that trade, but then Sirison and Tabson perfectly in sync with a frag each. And now it's a 4-on-2.
And they've dumped the bomb as well. Alu's going to be able to bring back a kill, but they've got to battle their way back to the bomb, which is down in the tunnel. Just the entrance to it as well. So this is going to be interesting. This USP's just watched the angle. They're a little bit worried about the rat from alt mid, but that hasn't happened yet. Now they've got a player back, so I don't even have to be too concerned about that situation. Nade doesn't do much, but what are Ariel and Alu going to do? We saw them pull back the first pistol round on Nuke. Wound up with 2 kills apiece and managing to pull out the clutch, but they need something huge here. They don't have the luxury of that plant to play around, and I don't think that's going to happen. It's taking way too long for both sides to get these kills. Nobody's finding the pistol headshots. Nobody's finding the killing blows, and Terras will get the trade. And Alu's now in a 1v2 with a player rapping as well. He knows it's a possibility. Based on the way that Xantares is playing, I think he's aware that a rap is likely coming at some point, but it's going to be Keto in the tunnel. And why not? He's got to drop down. Keto's going to force the issue. This could be a big problem. Keto loses his life. There was no need to do that. You could just wait and watch the bomb, my friend. But it is going to be Xantares who bails them out, gets the 2K. No problem here. Big do survive. That one, oh, it was a 4v2 at one point. That got way shakier than it needed to be, but Big do triumph in the end.
Yeah, I mean, it was a crazy round pretty much from start to finish. It was just constant aggression and yeah, as you said, getting a little bit too close even in ENCE's attempt to actually reclaim control of that bomb. But the main thing is, Big, they won it out. I mean, they don't really care if they only live with one player there in the pistol round, especially now when they, well, when they should have a pretty good idea that they're not going to be going against much here in the second round. Although considering we've seen ENCE being willing to buy so often, they might be expecting that force buy to come in. They'll find out pretty soon that that's not the case, that instead it is just Glocks across the board, and no Kevlar, of course, that they're going to be competing up against. But, I mean, it starts off pretty well. Sunny gets the 1-for-1 trade for them. If they can even pick up another frag with that MP9, a bit of extra money for themselves, and of course the extra damage, it would be absolutely huge. But as they wrap around towards long with the final 2 players, I was going to say there shouldn't be too much to be done, but Alu with the Deagle already managing to finish off Xantares, and they still have one more player trapped in that pit. It would have been 1 to the body from the Deagle that would have been enough to actually finish off Tizian, but he wasn't able to hit it. But still, 2 frags is pretty good.
Yeah, that was frankly gross. A lot of those kills were very sloppy from the Big side of things, that they managed to lose so many bodies to unarmored Glocks. You know, a couple Deags as well, but still, no armor behind the pistols. You figure the MP9 is just going to tear through them like butter, and that was way riskier than it needed to be. Still, the M4 does get saved through. We're only going to have 1 SMG in this situation, and they made enough money to get the AWP out for Sirison. It's a lot of different guns to talk about, but we do know that Sirison can be a difference maker with that scoped gun in his hand. He has been fairly consistently for them. 3 players early here over towards B. Tabson, fortunate, I think, to escape with his life, and he does get some nade damage back of his own. This second nade could be huge. Oh, it is chunky. Not quite as chunky. There's the third. Oh, they are getting whittled down. Come on, one more nade. Who's got it? Who's ponying it up? No one has it.
Yeah, they've only mollies now. I think they'll probably be more so looking to conserve them till the round time. There's still a lot on the clock. They line up for Xantares nearly. Actually only comes out with the 2, but the important thing is that was 2 of the healthy players, so you've still got Alu and Sergey on the brink of death, but they've taken out Tabson. Do they expect Keto now tucked in at the back of quad? Oh, well, he's been spotted for sure, so they definitely know at this point, but the flash comes over and the bomb is even dropped up on second oranges. Oh, that is so awkward. They do actually dispatch Keto pretty quickly. Sirison gone as well. V-Sync off didn't help Keto enough there to get the second kill, apparently, but let's see. Tizian trying to flank in, already being watched by Sunny, and that crumbled real quick.
Oh my, concerning factors for Big here. They had multiple moments where they had control of that round, right? Where, I mean, when the bombs dropped, first of all, the first player to peek into the corner, and we've seen this from ENCE a couple times, happens to be the player who holds the bomb. That player gets killed, drops it further in towards sight. Well, they can then play off of it. They fail to maintain control there. Then they even got an advantage. The bomb gets dropped on the oranges. There's a low player and 1 healthy player with a man advantage for Big, and they just can't hang on. I'm a little bit worried about this Big squad. They're looking a bit sloppy in certain situations, and we're seeing ENCE get the better of them. By all reports, this should be a more comfortable map for Big than it is for ENCE. But as we've seen today, this is very much a Jekyll and Hyde ENCE team. There's good ENCE and there's bad ENCE. And good ENCE is very hard to stop. Bad ENCE is very hard to get anything going. So it seems like we might be getting good ENCE on the server. Early results, promising.
Yeah, especially on a T side here like Inferno, if they can get that momentum going, it can be very difficult for the CTs to stop, especially if they never really stabilize that economy. But we'll see. Right now, the force buy obviously is in from Big. Doesn't permit them all that much to work with, but there is an MP9 alongside those Deagles, which we know can rip off some heads pretty cleanly. So we'll see if those shots will be connected or not. But for now, it's been pretty much a stalemate. I mean, some nades and such being used. Been pressuring around that A bomb site, and with that it even pulled a fourth player over in that direction, which looks like it's probably going to work out because now they're moving back around B, but by the time they get there it looks like Tabson also should be ready to help out Keto, so they'll have the second player back. Well, let's see, 35 seconds left in terms of nades. There's 0 for Big. For ENCE there is a few smokes and a couple flashes still remaining, so yeah, they'll be able to push forward as the smoke begins to fade away. As I said, it did still give a bit of room for Tabson to actually catch Aerial off guard. I know they need to ensure that they don't let Keto really get anything from the back here, and Dean nearly lining them up, gets the second. It's an off now that he has to deal with in oranges. If Alu had a miss, that could have been the end of the round. Thankfully, he does not. But they've still got a man disadvantage, and they've also got that clock working against them big time. It's done. Alu, plant.
I think he got it. Oh, he did, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
He gets immediately eliminated. They'll allow the plant. That's fine. They're going to get the AWP. They're going to get the round, big, huge round to take with very little in their back pockets to facilitate it. And time just got way too low there for ENCE, and there was nothing they could do about it. So big round to claim for Big. Curious to see which direction ENCE take it. I could see the justification for the force buy to try and prevent Big from building too much of a lead, but they're not going to do so. They're just going to go for the nades. I like the 3 nades I'm seeing. Maybe a nade stack towards top car, maybe towards top mid. 5 nades. Oh, we're getting a nade stack. And Sunny's forced. Why, Sunny? Why?
I don't know. He done that back on
Nuke?
Yeah, it was Nuke.
Yeah.
I was going to say, was it Dust? Yeah, I don't know. It's been weird. Kind of gone for a hero Deagle, maybe his full nades as well. Yeah, they actually unfortunately don't get anything out of their HEs. Yeah, already Big had fallen back off. They actually end up being the ones themselves rather who take a bit of damage from that utility, which when already limited in terms of the weapons, it's just not going to help you out. So I wouldn't imagine Big struggle too much with this round right now. Should be pretty straightforward. They'll look to try and actually build up some economy, which they need to because they really don't have any money here on the CT side in the reserve.
There could be pressure here. We saw a couple of kills come out of the Deagles previously for ENCE. Zantera's being here, it should be alright. Now you got the crossfire from Library as well, and okay, they clean it up. No pressure, not even a bullet of damage onto the Big side. They didn't get tickled by a single one of those nades, so they get out of it clean. That's huge. The money can start to build here. They're quite comfortable, and we're going to have an awful buy for ENCE. You've got a Deagle on Sunny. He's apparently comfortable playing with it. You're going to have nades on the rest. There's no op for Alu to contest, and Alu is historically one of the better T-side oppers on Inferno. This has always been one of those maps where he brings something extra special to the table when he's got that AWP in his hand on attack, but I don't know. This is not a great scenario that ENCE have put themselves into. Nades sailing over. That shot doesn't connect. Searson has to be careful not to get caught. He nearly does. Oh my. Keto is there for the punish, but Sergey will take Tabson out. So it's an even exchange, and with the damage done onto Searson, this might work out a little better for the T's.
Yeah, perhaps. Searson is 20, as you said. They actually managed to pounce out short and catch Tizian rotating across the bomb site. Santaris gets naded and mollied in towards the pit, but he still comes out with 1 frag. And for the moment, remaining alive, that flash blinded up the player that was up close on the pit, given some room to work with, but not enough to get another frag in the end, unfortunately. And as we had mentioned with Searson now being low, yeah, they have to run away. They have to save. It really is the only option. It'll give them enough for a buy, thankfully. Tabson has enough for himself. Keto will be able to drop one over as well. And then, of course, the op being saved for Searson. It'll give them the full investment, but that's the only way they're going to get it, with these 2 players saving. You would imagine ENCE won't send anyone out for it anyway, because they have kind of the bare minimum themselves of 3 living at this point, and they also, of course, have no money in the reserve They want to start trying to build up a bit of their own now as they look to get some rounds going on the T side, and this could be how they kick it off. If they're able to win out this next round, at that point the economy of Big will be in ruins. Not just their players.
That timing from Ariel peeking around, I'm pretty sure it was Ariel, peeking around lane in towards pit and site, huge. It was right when the player who was playing site had pulled off of the angle to reposition in towards pit, and Xanteres had also moved from back pit, so no one had eyes on it. There's a player in transition out in the open. It's a free kill, and then Xanteres, as the molly comes in, just has to deal with surviving himself. So timing worked out beautifully there for ENCE, but off of that timing, they certainly did capitalize. Now a big round for Big. Double op out. An MP9 for Tizian, but that double op has to lead the charge. You got Keto and Searson. See if they can find it. Nade, again, taking up a bit of damage. ENCE have really been coming out worse for the wear in this utility battle early on, but this time they get out with just a few scratches. Little boo-boo.
Yeah, thankfully. I mean, Sergey taking a little bit, as does Yampy. It doesn't help when you're up against still an M4 and an MP9, actually, in the hands of Tizian. Certainly that little bit of extra damage could come back to bite them, but yeah, much better than what they'd been taking from those HEs in the earlier rounds. And getting themselves, importantly, the banana control quite easily. They're able to advance forward on towards Car as well. The 3-man stack that was initially in place over towards B has been shifted back around now as well, because they are also pressuring on towards middle. They want to open up all of the options for themselves at this point and just make it difficult, of course, for Big to know what's going on unless they take those gambles and go forward for info and such. Is that going to be the case? They are looking maybe to probe around mid. Nah, Xanteres was just thrown in a nade from Arch and he'll fall back. At this point, though, where are they going to actually end it? Well, where's the commitment coming in? The bomb is still over towards the top of Banana, so that's probably the more likely area. But they've still got a couple around mid, so they could even try and rapture the spawn, it looks like.
I think this is going to be a B split. It's going to be fairly effective as well. The question is, can Searson hang on? If he can keep them clean, that would be huge. Timing. Going to be interesting here for Tabson as well on the oranges. It's going to be a molly in. Searson hits the first. That was massive. Now the kills come in hot and heavy, and Tabson holds strong. Ariel will finally deal with Searson, but it's too little too late. Now Sunny's left alone. 10 seconds on the clock. They have to force the issue. There's no time to wait for that rotation back in from spawn. And while Sunny will clear one out, 4 seconds. He's been tagged. He's got to pull off it. They've won the round. They have won the round. There's nothing you can do about it, Sunny. You just got to live. And he's not going to be able to do so. No loss bonus for Sunny. The money is actually better than I thought it would be. It's a little bit funny that he gets out of that, but he had some cash in reserve as a result of that deagle buy a couple rounds ago. And ENCE are going to be all right here. They're going to be able to buy next round.
Who knew that would come back to help him?
Right?
I feel bad for saying "aw" when you said that. It was just because I wanted to sing "Ain't No Sunshine" by Bill Withers when it would have worked. But nah, his money wasn't all that bad, so it didn't work. But yeah, no, as you said, that was fortunate. He had a little bit of spare money right there. Otherwise, he would have been left in such an awkward spot compared to his teammates, where again he would have been just on a weaker weapon once the buy comes out. But I mean, even then, they are looking at the eco now, so it gives a good chance for Big, of course, to start building up a few more rounds. Again, they still haven't stabilized their own economy, so they should be doing it here. But every single time we feel like they should be having an easier round, it seems like ENCE are still able to at least output a bit of damage with a couple of kills. So we'll see. The MP9 right now around mid looking for a fight. Searson didn't want to hang around after he, I guess, heard quite a few footsteps. Instead, they fall back to take the site pretty passively, and with the mollies and nades and such, should be able to delay that push and chip away at the health as well once it does begin to come in. Although, as I say that, it may not still be the A commitment. They could still fall back down middle and are beginning to fall back out of brackets indeed. But that's been spotted, so Big should know that that's happened, especially as they have one player jump beacon Banana for the early info.
Keto tight to the smoke. He sees one. He's going to be able to get more. Has the awareness now. Is there a nade here? Oh, don't force this. Don't give them tracers to follow back through the smoke. Got to be careful about that. And look at how light the presence is on site. Tabson all the way back in towards spawn. When you're just trying to overwhelm, this could actually get interesting. They don't have a smoke to cover off the cross, though. Tabson's aware of that. So he should be able to do a ton of damage as they come around. But there's always the possibility that Keto, if they hop up over the oranges, he could get overwhelmed by a quick shot from a Glock or a Deagle. And the pressure is on. Molly will help ease that pressure. It's going to whittle the clock so far down again. ENCE, you cannot die after timer this time. You got to force the issue now. Alu, just go and die. 10 seconds. Make it happen. Keto will assist him in that effort. 3 kills found for Keto. A 6th round for Big. And ENCE, well, they're going to get another bye here. It's not going to be perfect, but it will be viable. this is where you need to start getting rounds, otherwise things get out of hand. And Dean, it feels like everyone's got their turn on the rough list for ENCE.
Yeah.
It's Yampi on this map. He's sitting at the 008. He's gone beyond secret agent status.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's just not... As you said, every single game. What was this? Sergey in the first...
He has 480R.
480R. I hadn't even brought up the scoreboard because it's the default when it clashes with the custom HUD. Damn, okay. Yeah, no. So he's barely even got to do anything. Even Inferno, a map here like Inferno, you should be able to get some nade damage at the very least. But it's not over. We're on round number 9, Mike, so we'll give him a bit of time to step it up. We know it's possible. We've seen Sergey being able to turn things around after having a bad performance for a while back on the first map, sure. So we know it is possible. But speaking of Sergey, he's been unfortunately dropped pretty low at the beginning of this round, and it looks like they're going to line up for the off, actually. Yampi taken down low, but he gets the kill. Despite being legged down, he's able to come out with 1 before eventually he does get finished up, but that flash was fantastic. Alu, he just got forced straight into Arch after getting blinded, and yeah, into the waiting arms of Tabson. A 4-on-2, my bad, now a 4-on-1. Didn't last too long, as I slightly jinxed it maybe, but it's all on Sunny. The bomb, I mean, it's already dropped out on short in the vision of those pit players as well. Or I guess I'd say of the pit player right now being Xanthars.
40 seconds. What does he want to do with this? 35 seconds. Time getting very low. He'll need to retrieve the bomb and attempt to plant if he's going to go for it. He's so timid into it. It almost feels like he's going to go for the save. Player's just worked into a nook. Oh, that's perfect timing out from Tabson. Going to have the shot from the back here. There's going to be the peak, though. Sonny does get that 20 seconds. You got to go, man. If you're going to go, he's going to save. He's attempting the save. I don't think he'll be given that luxury. I think Keto's going to have it in a moment here. And there it is. The upgrade to the AK available for Keto. 3 AKs taken through into the next round for Big, and 7 rounds with a 5-round lead. And another presumed eco coming through from ENCE. But silver lining here, Dean. Yampi has cracked the goose egg. He is on the board. He's got that monkey off of his back. And now maybe if they can get Yampi activated back into the game, they'll be able to make a better run of this.
Yeah, sometimes the first kill can be the hardest to get, especially if it takes you a little while to. Hopefully that's his opening back in now, as you said, and maybe for ENCE as well, because they do need to start getting rounds soon enough on this T side. Can they change things in this one? I mean, with just some pistols and Kevlar, we'll have to see what they can find, but up through the smoke on Banana, I mean, it starts off pretty well. Tabson ends up taking quite a bit of damage as well, but he gets the nade in at least in return, and that chips away at those players just a small bit to help out. With the spam through the smoke from Xanthars, they've tied him back up. Okay, Tizian pops in through the bottom of the Banana smoke, and Sergey was just waiting right in front of it with a Tech 9.
It's just that one little gap in smoke, and I don't think he was expecting somebody to be there, but Sergey waiting, ready for it. He's like a landmine. Trip over him, he's going to knock your legs off. That's a nice kill for Xanthars. Okay, suddenly this round's back in question. It's a 2v2. This is viable. Both players are out towards Banana, but a smoke's going to go up. Searson could just stick it. No, he wants the kill, and he's going to go for it. And at this point, Sergey's close enough that I don't think he's going to get another chance on that defuse. It's kind of a situation where you just force the defuse and hope for the best, and Searson wanted that kill.
Yeah, but now he can't even get away, unfortunately. Oh! Threw his up away. Was hoping they could just get the kill with the pistol, or at least sure that wouldn't be picked up by anyone on ENCE, and they all end up dying, to be fair. So I mean, works out kind of well. But we'd been mentioning that despite Big winning those rounds, they really hadn't been taking them as convincingly as they would have needed to actually build up their own economy into a sufficient position for the full buy. And yeah, no, they haven't. There's 3 players right now who cannot fully afford. They could maybe scrape one together, because Keto and Xanthars can buy. Tizian could go for an M4 and body armor, but they decide against that, and that is understandable. They're up 7-3. They don't need to force the issue quite yet. They can go for whatever's kind of available with the excess cash. And as long then as they can make this round relatively close, then they know that obviously ENCE will have very little money in the following, because they lived with 0 during that previous round that they won. The nade there looked like it maybe could have done some damage. Must have been heard as he was able to avoid it. Scout trying to take a fight down mid. Not working too well for Searson. So yeah, I mean, this forced buy, really the goal is 2 or 3 kills, mostly for Big.
Slower pace. Control being exerted towards bracket. Space is taken. They're not going to come library, but it's a fast play up lane now. Here comes the hit. There's the Deeg shot. A second as well. Xanthars now has a gun. Oh, this has gotten dangerous indeed. There's still a player in pit to deal with, but Sergey does so ably. Sunny, big kill. Sunny, a second as well. And disaster averted. That was looking very bad for a moment there. When you go for the tight wrap over on the site, you don't clear Cold Zera. It can always come back to bite you, but they slow down, they stabilize. And with no other damage able to come in from the pit or anywhere else, you see ENCE recover. Keto, I'd say this is worth saving. He's got armor, no head armor, but he can upgrade or not. He's got the utility, he's got the deagle, he's got the kit. That's a lot of cash spare. Yeah. Certainly he'll be able to rebuy them, but there's no reason to if you're not really going to be able to win the round, and
especially if they want the miracle.
Yeah.
That would help them a lot. He's surprisingly sticking around. I would imagine
he wants one more kill.
Yeah, I mean, we'd mentioned, obviously, the bomb killed off the last couple of players in the previous round for ENCE, so they weren't left with any money, so the one more kill...
He has the nade?
It would ruin the reinvestment, really. Yeah, he might actually be able to force this to kill them. Oh, yeah, they're done. They're done for. At least Sergey is. The other two surviving. Planted a little bit deeper on the bomb site, thankfully, but that one extra kill. Now they don't have enough to fund everyone with the drops. Do any of the players who died have enough to buy for themselves? Yeah, Sergey does, thankfully, so they should be okay then. We're actually seeing some Mac 10s coming out.
It's going to make this round somewhat interesting. The X God himself making his spirit has entered the server.
Yeah, it's interesting because
that
both
nade
Sunny
coming
and Alu could have dropped AKs. Maybe they're expecting to go up against an eco, which I mean is still kind of possible if we look at their money on the side of big.
It is. We could see Tizian take a bit of a backseat. Keto, he can buy himself a gun. He could drop a FAMAS. It depends on whether they want the AWP over to Searson. If so, he's really going to need to purchase it up. I'd say, I think this is a situation where you go for it. You don't need head armor on the majority of players. You don't need head armor on anyone. I guess you could actually use it since there's Mac 10s on the other side. I don't know. This is a curious question. It seems like the more time that goes on here, the more I believe that big are going to take this as an eco. I'd expect to see at least some investment. Yeah, it's going to be a half. Okay.
I thought they might have went full for a moment, but yeah, I was agreeing with you. The longer they take normally to buy, the more so it means that you probably won't see that full investment. It was a big contrast to Sunny just forcing every now and again. When you look at how ENCE were dealing with some of those rounds. Oh, Sunny, no. Okay, he's already gotten himself a double kill there as they tried to, I believe, nade down mid. They did actually get a bit of damage off them, but nothing substantial when you consider that they lost two of their own players, and then Tizian even got naded down on Banana, and oh, when it looks like Searson might even have the drop on one, it's denied. So Aerial building up money on the Mac 10, and just across the board, that's the case. They're trying to get as much kills on these SMGs now as they can. Tabson, can he find anything? I mean, again, if they can keep that damage up, that was the hope. They had, in the two previous rounds anyway, not let many survive. Only two in that previous, of course. And now the one kill, if you could get another, that would be fantastic. I don't think he really needs to save the M4, just because they do have so much money coming into the next round. One more kill, and then at that point, it's making the actual investment that they went for in this round worthwhile. Oh, and he could maybe catch the player on long. Peeking around, here's the footsteps, and indeed uses that to catch the timing on the pounce. Peeks back in the mid, and that is amazing. Two players again surviving for ENCE. They aren't being allowed really to build up any sort of stable economy for themselves. And that's what they went for there. That's what they were trying for by going in for those couple SMGs.
I think there will be enough money that this will be fine. Aerial can obviously purchase himself. Sunny can drop over for Yampi, and they'll be okay. So it's a pretty substantial buy. You've got two players with money saved through, but as you said, it definitely does let a lot more blood. And considering how much Big had in store for this round, it should be fine. We're going to see the AWPs up.
Oh, they actually have an MP9 on Tizian.
That's a nice nade. Yampi just caught that.
I didn't think they'd be having a weak weapon after taking so many ecos. That's a bit weird.
It is a little unusual. Tizian... He's actually having a good game as well. He's 10-6. I was thinking maybe if he's bottom of the board, he's just fine with doing that to get utility. He opted for head armor. That's the difference. He opted for head armor. I mean, I guess still would have had an SMG, but he'd have an extra 800. Could have bought a FAMAS instead. That's the decision he makes. Keto, first pick with that AWP. They've got the double op out. This is a much more passive hold on Banana for them. They've been losing some of those initial fights, so they don't want to contest for it at all. They want to let the op try and pluck them as they come through, and then he gives support through to the rifle in Tabson. Kid is going to take up the coffin angle. He's been good with it. ENCE They've got top banana, and it seems like that's what they're going to try and do. They're going to try and execute here. Amali's going to go down for Tabson as soon as they feel presence. He's actually trying to jump for it. Don't. Oh, my goodness. Jump peeking that is very risky indeed. When you've got the op to watch for you, there's no need to do that. And here comes the hit. Now they got the information. They've rotated the third over. Great timing on the molly. There's no smoke for it for ENCE, so they just have to wait. They just have to wait 25 seconds. Time's getting low, but Tabson tries to force the issue. Big shot for Keto. He's got support from his second player, but Santares loses his life. And that's going to likely be a bomb plant. Bit of a misplay here from Big, but Keto can still make this dangerous. Keto has done so much. Sergey now in a 1v2 has to try and clutch it out. He'll have just enough time for the plant, and the remaining two CTs can't do anything about it, but he's so blind. The light will fade from his eyes. He's got one. He's got no bullets. He's being chased down here. Gets the reload off, but Tizian secures it. The inferior weapon even goes to the USP to finish things. But the defuse will be there. The op will be retrieved, and it'll be 8 rounds for Big. What a madcap round. But Keto did enough. A 4K with the op from the back of sight to keep his team in it, to give them the chance for the retake and to make it happen.
Yeah, as you said, it got a bit dangerous there with Tabson wanting to actively fight out a spawn. It could have potentially cost it for them, but no, they managed to make it work. Keto went huge with that double frag. 8-5. Big, obviously, though, they don't manage to retain much money with only one player surviving, so they are going to have to put all of their money back into this round here, and they have enough just about to scrape together their own buy. Whoever loses this is actually looking at very little for the final round of the half then to try and keep themselves in it. So this round could decide 7 for ENCE or 10 for Big. So I mean, yeah, it's a big round and an immense moment. Bad puns, I'm sorry.
Immense indeed. I really do think that I mean, despite the fact that it worked out, I think Big got away with it a little bit. The two rifle guardians who were there to help keep Keto upright really did not do much for him. Forced the issue a bit too much. This time it's Searson with responsibility to sight. They move Keto off of it because they've only got the one AWP, and they're going to put that in the hands of Searson. So off of his 4K, he gets the automatic cooldown of just not having the big green gun. And interesting as well, Searson's got all the utility for this site, which is a bit problematic when you consider the fact that he really just wants to stay scoped in. There's the kill, though. Now that util might come out, help provide them some space. He's got 2 teammates as well. This B site is closed for business, but they're eventually going to want to come back to it. They've got the split. Or, no, the wrap onto A is coming now. Yampi's going to get position. Someone's got to be watching this. Zanteres is out in the open, though, awkwardly in the pit. He's not going to get much before he falters. Damage done from the second pit player, but now position given away and control of the graveyard. Yampi's just going to come up and over and try and do more. Yampi loses his life somehow. Tizian is staying alive. He's done so much. So much to make it a 3v2. Bomb is now down, but once again, a retake made winnable by a hero play from the back of the site. Ariel and Sunny going to take the fight towards lane as Sunny wants to get aggressive and take one of these players before they get into position for the multi-kill. Tabson out the balcony. A molly in makes Ariel uncomfortable. He doesn't have the health to sit in this. He's lost his life. It's all on Sunny. He'll get the first, but not the turn. And that is going to be a 9th round for Big. And with it, as you said, the money a bit in the dumpster for ENCE. They've got the loss bonus, so they'll be able to get something going here, but it's looking very good for Big to potentially take double digits in this first half.
Yeah, as you said, the extra $800 from the bomb at least, giving them enough to maybe get some nades out behind whatever weaker weapons they force in, but it shouldn't really be rifles unless you maybe see Ariel go for an AK in body armor. You could see a couple of Galils perhaps. But as I said, at least a couple players needing to go for those weaker weapons so that they can have some sort of nades, and yeah, they decide on the 1 AK in body armor on Ariel. Pistols then elsewhere, it's a Tech 9, a couple Deegs, and 1 Mac 10 for Sunny. So I mean, it's not the worst buy we've ever seen. We might see something a bit quicker here, I would imagine, from them, as they actually bring most of their players around second mid. Molly towards the top of Banana, just stop the CTs from peeking in the beginning and finding too much info, but they will get info as they hear all of those footsteps coming up close towards middle, and a decently timed nade. Doesn't do all that much damage, but it does a little bit to help, especially with the MP9 being Tizian's weapon of choice, isolating the initial fight even over towards long. The rest of the ENCE players just been a bit slow to initially follow up, but Alu, he gets one Ariel, then swings in on the AK, and again it falls to the man in the pit. This time though, it's Zanteres.
They know he's here, but there's only so many ways he can stay alive. And this is awkward. Tabson doesn't have bullets, but the op shot's missed. Okay, eventually Tabson goes down. It's left to Keto in the clutch. Keto was the hero, but not this time. The headshot is there, but it's not an AK. It's an M4. And so ENCE will at least get this 6th round. We have another 9-6 split. Shades of Dust 2 here. shades, well, actually, shades of Nuke on the 9-6. This time it was ENCE starting out on the CT side, or rather Big starting out on the CT side. We'll see if it's enough, if we can continue the narrative of Nuke, or if maybe ENCE can flip it this time around on their own defense.
Yeah, and that's a question we're going to have answered pretty soon, but that'll be after the break, guys. Do stick around. We'll be back in just a few minutes. Alright guys, we're back. As I said, just a couple of minutes on the halftime, but we don't have much time to really discuss anything because already there is so many players around the top of Banana having a bit of a scrap, which seems to be initially going in favor of the T side actually. Not going poorly at all for the boys over on Big, but as you can see, they also have a player deep in towards the spawn. Saracen actually managing to catch the rotator, and they finally dealt with the player that was in towards the back of the bomb site. I have some floating stickers and such on guns.
Always a good time.
Yeah, we might have to get a rejoin soon for that, but we'll wait until there's a bit of downtime.
I personally enjoy that visual bug when the sticker just floats like a foot above the gun. It's the magic sticker. Levitation enabled. But yeah, this is a great start for Big. Obviously, they get the double digits right off the back of the pistol round. We're going to have a force buy in from ENCE, as we've come to expect from ENCE. We've got the scout on Alu. Could be a bit of a difference maker. There's the spot. Not the shot, though. Doesn't connect, and they'll be able to get around to Banana. So now they've got a lot of space, a lot of pace that they can bring over towards that B bomb site. And there's a decent amount of utility. I think even a nade but that nade's not going to connect. It was used a little bit too early. They've got smokes available to slow things down, but if Yumpy goes looking for this without the smoke, he might lose his life before he gets a chance to use it. There's the flash. Doesn't work. That's one smoke wasted. That's another smoke wasted as Tizian gets a kill as well, and bodies just starting to drop. Sunny, oh, he's not going to get to use his smoke either. No one's using a smoke. I think he actually picked one up off the body. I don't know why I'm fixating on the lost smokes in this round. But it just feels like the important
when you buy them up and don't get to use them, it is obviously a bit of a waste, but they kind of just got destroyed, so I don't think there was much to be said. Well, I mean, it was the force buy, so obviously they wanted more than just a single frag, but yeah, it was only just the force buy as well, so you have to remember that they only had mostly pistols across the board, so not too surprising that Big were able to pick that one up, but now they get 12, and as that next gun round comes out, rather, it could be a decider for ENCE. If it goes the way of Big, at that point they'll probably be on 14-6. And although we've seen a near incredible comeback back on the first map of the series by ENCE, they did of course fall short then, and yeah, I mean, it wouldn't be an easy task here on Inferno either, but this mid push, it was kind of obliterated by the nade in the beginning, and it really just weakens all those players up for Tabson, and for the SMG in particular, just so that he can build some bank. There we go, 12-6, not a single casualty. I don't even think any damage was done.
So smooth sailing through this first couple of rounds. You expect them to be smooth, but ooh, Big do make them look good. Just the car and cruise control, right? Steady pace, roll right into it. Now we see if ENCE might be able to make that a bit of a rockier ride now that they got the AWP out, now that they got the utility. A little bit of a mix-up in spawn means that we're definitely not going to get the fast peek for Alu. He got caught up on a teammate, so we shouldn't see that rapid off shot. He's thinking about it, though. He's thinking about that mid peek. Oh, he's going for it. The slow check in towards underpass. Not going to be anyone home. Instead, it seems like they're going to pressure Banana early on, which means that all weight is on Yumpy. He knows they're coming, but he's got one through smoke. That's Keto claimed. Perfect timing on the flashbang as well. Keeps him alive as Searson was trying to chase. And Searson down on the dirt. This bonus round off to a terrible start here. Smoke might trigger Sunny to peek in, and the timing couldn't be any better. Sunny with a lockdown. Tizian doesn't look like he's going to get much of anything at all. He will take one, a second as well. Okay, the Galil spray works out. At least he's done some damage. The round, likely not obtainable, especially with 12 points of health, but at the very least, he can make this costly. They're coming up on his flank. He's got to go quick if he wants to try and get this pressure onto Alu, maybe a bomb plant. But the more time he delays, he gets the upgrade here. They're going to be wrapping him. Now there's all sorts of bodies at home, and Alu will not miss. So 7th round for ENCE, but a little bit of damage on the tail end there for Big, I think, keeps them in this and keeps that pressure on for the finish side.
Importantly, as you had said, that was the bonus round as well from Big. So yeah, I mean, they're not too worried. I mean, it was probably a little bit scary when they got obliterated in the beginning, but as soon as Tizian recovered those 2 frags, you think, yeah, no, that's pretty good. Pretty good damage. They'll be able to now, hopefully, well, at least they'll be thinking, hopefully they'll be able to now bounce back immediately, and of course just break down the economy of ENCE with that. But we'll see if that'll happen. Obviously, ENCE, they're looking to try and get it going right now, and if they do end up taking this one, I mean, maybe another bike could be scraped out in the following by Big, but it wouldn't be quite as strong, and it would be ENCE's chance to really start building back into this game. Yampy just about survives, thankfully, as that second molly actually disappeared. 11 health, though. That's not too good, but at least elsewhere, Alu does give them the actual first blood itself. Does he know a player has creeped out long? There was a lot of jumping going on by Tizian, so I feel like the steps may have been heard, but they decide to go aggressive down Banana. This round is crazy right now. A free kill for Sunny from behind as well. Oh, he goes for the knife. Will he get the kill? Not quite, but he doesn't get taken down himself. I suppose that's the main thing in the end. What a weird round, man. Oh, the molly.
What a huge missed opportunity for Sunny. You pull out that knife, you better hit it. He's eventually going to get the kill. Okay, so no harm, no foul, apparently. But it would have been poetic just if Searson had gotten that kill onto him. Tizian's got all the positioning in the world. Unfortunately, he doesn't have the bomb. So there's not a whole lot he can do about this positioning. They may have forgotten he could be over here. That's really the one silver lining for him. Maybe he can get back towards that parcel of C4 or do some damage on the route to it. But this is not looking great for them. Tizian going to get caught by Sergey as well, who realizes where he's likely is. And now it's just 4 rounds separating these 2 teams. We've got some money for Big. I think we'll see an investment back through here. Xantaras will be limited, but he's got enough that it should be fine. Are they really going to go for the save here?
I like it. I didn't think they would. You don't think most teams would. I mean, it's 12-8.
They've got rifles on 4 players.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose
Back
you're
10
right
for
about
Xantares?
that. I was thinking maybe it's just because Xantares in particular, they want him to be on the full buy. I was also thinking, though, as long as they can get to 3 kills here or so, then they're pretty good. Yeah, no, more so I get where they're coming from. I didn't expect that, as I said, but I get where they're coming from, trying to keep the pressure on. Don't give an opportunity, because if they did buy, then in the following round, if they did lose it, at that point they definitely would be looking at an eco. Then there's a chance for ENCE to go back up to double digits. So I get where they're coming from. I don't know if it's the best decision. That's up to them to decide. They're the ones playing. But there is a chance it could work out. A chance, I say, though, because very quickly it's beginning to diminish. Indeed it is. Alu has easy pickings over on long. Eventually 1 kill comes back, but it's just that, at least just that initially, he can get himself 1 more. If they can get 1 more frag here, if Keto can drop another player, then at that point it would be very, very worthwhile. But yeah, no, they don't manage to do that. So 2 kills, I mean, it's okay, but it's not as much as they would have been hoping for. So now they need to bounce back on this gun round.
So we talked about it. Everyone seems to have had their chance in the cellar and their chance to shine. This time it's Tizian's chance to shine. He's 22, 5, and 12. Obviously, they just lost that round, but he brought back 2 kills. He's had a bunch of rounds like this where, and it's especially impressive when you consider the fact that he, especially on the defensive side, was the player always taking the hit when they needed an inferior weapon. He was the guy picking it up, picking up the MP9 in multiple rounds, just doing the dirty work, picking up the utility when they needed the utility, setting them up for it. We're going to have deep banana control here for the ENCE side. Going to be taking some space. Shots out. Tabson through the smoke. Finds Yampi. So that is a nice blessing for this big squad. An advantage early and for free. And nothing ENCE can do about that. Seems like we're going to get an A hit off the back of that. There's only 2 players in as they split the defense to mount towards either side. It's going to be a fast flank on. But if they lose their presence early, this is very tough for the A-side defenders. Sergey has to hold strong. And well, he cannot do that. So it's all onto the pit player now. And it's just going to be Ariel from the pit. He'll tap and get his bell rung. Sight taken. This is likely a save now for ENCE.
Yeah, their money isn't great. I mean, they would have enough for a buy maybe, but Ariel, as you can see, is going to need a drop. So saving over the weapons, it does make sense, especially with Alu having the op. Sunny then probably could be the one to drop an M4 maybe, but I'd say it would probably be Alu more likely with the extra bit of money, depending on if he wants to retain that extra, of course, towards the op or not. But they should be able to save. I wouldn't imagine Big will go out on the hunt right now. They themselves wanting to try and retain all 4 that they have left standing. But they've done it, and they've been able to come back in on this gun round. We had mentioned that it was pretty important, especially after they went for the eco in that round before and gave ENCE the opportunity to get back up to their 9th already. You didn't want them to be bringing things back to double digits and then probably 11 off the back of winning this gun round. So it keeps Big in a relatively comfortable position. But ENCE, as we said, with the save, they'll be buying right back in, and they don't want to give away this control right now. It could be kind of a similar position to what we've seen back on Dust 2, unfortunately, where ENCE, they get some momentum going, but they just never really built up quite enough of a stable economy. But they have it for now. This is it though. This has to be their round, otherwise Big will be looking at map point, and with that, of course, serious point as well. This is an interesting setup. 4 players around A right now, actually, in the beginning.
Yeah.
For that CT side. Not too common.
No, I don't know whether they were anticipating a bit of a faster play off of this or whether this was just a gut check call. But this is such a massive stack. I think the idea is that it's a retake setup. You can see how far back Yampi is playing on the B site. He'll just use utility to slow things down if the hit does come his direction. And they might even just wind up punting on the round if he gets taken down with no response. Otherwise, they go for the retake B. But fortunately for them, Big are at least exploring the possibility of an A take. As I say that, though, they find the apartments control and they say, well, that's good enough for us. Let's back off. Real estate price is a little high. You know, we don't really want to go beyond the apartments. Instead, if they come into B, they're going to find light presence. Now the 4th player rotates back. So you're going to be able to support a 2nd player on site. Alu coming in as well. It's that AWP. It's that big green gun as Sunny will get more aggressive. The 2 veteran players of this squad starting to make some noise, and Alu is going to take the first pick. So opportunity missed for Big to find that vacant site. They've gone a bit too slow, a bit too timid, a bit too cautious. Now they got to contend with 2. Sunny, the player on site. He's got to get it going. He's got 1, but traded. Still an advantage here, and Alu continues to enforce that, continues to drop bodies. Alu making it happen. God, Alu on the server. 4 kills for him and 10 rounds for ENCE.
absolutely fantastic from Alu. He hasn't been bad throughout the series by any means, but he hasn't been quite at the same level he was at points on Dust 2, where he was just the sole man kind of carrying ENCE through rounds. It hasn't been needed as much, of course, on Nuke and Nahir and Inferno as well. But yeah, when he's able to step up like that, it's what turns the tide, and it gives an opportunity for ENCE to keep on building back into this one, of course. They didn't quite break down the economy a bit completely with that. They are able to scrape out an investment, but it's just that they scrape it out. It is not perfect. They have a couple weaknesses, and they already have one player gone, but Tabson just about got his AK back out in time there. It looked like he might have been fallen victim to the MP9 as well. I mean, but even with the trade, just look at the health of Tabson, and then also Tizian, who I'm guessing got naded down or something. I'm not sure exactly what happened to him.
I believe so. Either that or a little bit of spam damage coming through on this side. Whatever it is, Tizian's not going to be long for this world. Oh, it's Sergey. Locking this down. No room on the lane. No space out the balcony. Nothing easy doing here. And there's a player all the way in the back lines that they're not aware of. Santeras thought he checked it, but how would he expect Sunny to go all the way back into spawn? So if they rotate out towards B, no dice there. And it allows the 3 players to play on towards site. You've got Alu sort of holding off in the library, off of the library, watching for a player to come around from Arch. There's no easy path here. And everyone from ENCE is hidden, is disguised. They're under camouflage, if you will. It's going to be very tough to sniff them out. Meanwhile, the 2 actual site defenders are in the pit. So there could be a bit of a crunch back in, but by the time that happens, Alu can swing back out of library and start to support. This is a great setup for ENCE. They have really built a strong defense here. Nice smoke. It's going to be the wraparound. It's going to be the isolation on the fight with the pit player, but Ariel gets one. That's all he needed to do. He's going to lose his life. It puts Zantares in a 1v2. 18 seconds. Zantares wants to tap his head, but Alu's just baiting him. He doesn't want to give him the fight. He doesn't want to give him the kill. There's going to be the pressure. Bomb plant likely coming in, but by the time that happens, oh, he's on fire. He's burning. Alu's got the kill. So the money does come through. But by not giving him the fight, Alu never gives Zantares the possibility of winning the round.
No, it was just all about wasting that time as long as possible, as you said. And yeah, it works out well. That Molotov was fantastically placed. There was just absolutely zero that could be done from Zantares. And ENCE now, they're only within 2 rounds here. Should be potentially brought within 1. I mean, there's 2 players looking at an eco on the side of Big, so we likely will see it because of it. Because of that, and indeed some pistols, whatever they can buy up is being purchased, so they still have a chance to keep the pressure on. But at this point, that's becoming slightly less important because the money is beginning to build up at least on a few of those players over on the ENCE side. Although they obviously still want to try and take this round as cleanly as they can, as you always do. Good for the confidence as well as the economy. But here we go, another quick mid play coming in. Tabson leading that charge out through the smoke. The bomb quickly following up behind as well as they bring it around in through long. And for the moment, there's only 2 players on the bomb site itself. They've been able to isolate these players. The Tech 9, it does find the first blood in favor of Big, but it doesn't last very long. Ariel from the bomb site comes up huge as he finds a hat-trick. And although we will see good damage across the board with more kills being found for Big, the main thing is ENCE managed to win out the round and bring themselves with that to within just 1 in the difference.
Ooh, do you feel this wind changing? It really does feel like we're just getting this ENCE breeze coming in, and it's just completely changed the atmosphere in this game. Before, even when they were winning rounds, it's like, okay, well, Big are battling this back, we can get something. But this spate of 3 rounds has really felt like a tonal shift in the game. And you're starting to really see a strength and finish side and some confidence giving in for them as well. They're changing up their setup. They're quite comfortable. This could be interesting. I think that a lot rides on this round. Obviously, of the immediate economic future, but just momentum in general. I think Big really need to stop here, or at least a tight round to fight. Otherwise, we're just going to see ENCE sweep away with this one.
It's looking like Alu might be tested around mid pretty soon. He obviously hears a lot of steps out on second mid at the moment. Oh, the barrel. Oh, could this be working as a bit of a bait? Maybe the issue is they don't actually have anyone ready in Boiler to follow up. That could have been the perfect kind of approach to that situation. But they do bait out Alu's shot importantly and then manage to catch the secondary up over towards Long. Alu had repositioned himself into Moto, but he's only able to get the one, then gets smoked and forced back around the corner. And he's not quite able to catch the timing on shot, but they maybe were giving him another chance there. I was a little bit scared by Keto, not gonna lie, but he makes it work for the frag. He escapes back into Boiler. and importantly gets the info about where both of these final players are. He really shouldn't be giving them chances, to be fair, now that he knows.
That kill might actually bait them back into this retake, but I think it's a bad idea. Oh, they're going to do it because Sunny swapped back to the M4. They're going to attempt it. Time is ticking low. They do have the kits. They do have a smoke. But they better get these kills instantly. That's the first one. Yampi has it. Oh, he pulls out the utility at just the wrong time. He's getting spammed down through the hate cart, and down he goes. That was a bit of a false lure for Sunny. He gets that kill with the op, and suddenly it's like, well, we could retake this. It's a 2v3. We've done these before. But no, it's the big punishment in, and the money, it's kind of in the dumpster here for ENCE. They don't have much. They're going to scrape a bye together, it seems. But Big now, off of their one-round win, have reset the momentum, have reset the economy quite a bit. And if they can take this, that's map point, and it's no cash for ENCE.
Yeah, I mean, Big wouldn't have the greatest economy either if they were to lose this one. So it's a situation that could be awkward for both. Obviously, Big have a little bit more loss bonus to their name, but even then, this round carries a lot of weight for both sides. But you can see with that, at least for Big, they don't want to be taking too many risks early on. Saracen actually ends up getting caught there as Alu peeks in towards middle, so even without taking risks, while holding incredibly passive, they still end up losing that first player. So a good opening for ENCE, and one that's very much needed when you have when you have a couple of weaker weapons in play with the MP9 and the FAMAS. Even things up just a little bit. Now they're sitting with a 5-on-3 pretty comfortably. They don't have to force the issue at all. They can sit back and just conserve what limited utility they had, which includes a few Molotovs. Who's over on B right now? It is Sunny. So yeah, Sunny indeed does have a Molotov to try and delay a bit further once this hit comes in, as well as a flash.
And they've got a smoke on Yampi as well. So they've got a lot of delay utility available. I'm surprised. Okay, you hear the T utilities coming in. There's, yeah, Alu's going to rotate. I was going to say, I'm surprised the op hadn't come over yet. Now it's certainly going to be on. Tons of utility gets dumped just to hold them at bay. Now Big are going to make the move. They've got to go for the re-smokes, though. That cross-smoke's still up critically, but they're going to re-smoke it, give themselves extra time. Big kill on the first. Do they predict the second? They should. Sunny's ready for it. He's revealed his position. Now the hurt can come in, but Santeras is focused on the player coffins at the wrong moment. Time becoming an issue. Those smokes will fade, but Tizian's worked his way into church. Alu down. Now they just have to clear Sunny. And they know what? His teammate shot him? What was that? It works. Tizian gets the kill, so all's fair. No problem. There's the flash out, and there's the kills. The last is in! Map point secured by Tabson. A 3K for Tizian. This man has been a god for his team here on Inferno. And that is map point secured with 3 shots added and no money for the Finnish squad. They have made such a run through this series. This has been an absolute slog throughout here, Dean. But it all comes down to this. And when we come to the finish line, it seems like the Finns have run out of fuel.
Yeah, I mean, it's heartbreaking. It's what happened on Dust too. They were so close to that comeback, ended up dropping 16-14, and unfortunately, they might not end up coming out with the series here, as Inferno is not going their way. But it's not quite over. The most difficult of these remaining 3 rounds would be this one. If they manage to get it here and now, then the economy of Big is ruined. They have a chance to go ahead and bring it back to the overtime. But Xanthars, of course, he doesn't want to let that happen. Already the opening kill going in favor of Big, and it's been extended even further, catching Sergey just as he put that smoke down. The A bomb site is going to fall, and it looks like ENCE are too.
Ariel in the bedroom. I do like this play. It could get cheeky. Find the gap between them, come back to it. Does he win the duel, though? No, he does not. And that's going to be it, folks. All the cards.